Hi everyone, this is Yana Smakula and thanks for joining me today. In this video, I am sharing more pencil coloring using my Polychromos pencils, and I'm going to color some new beautiful floral images from Pretty Pink Posh. I started to work on my card by selecting images I wanted to use from the new Flourishing Fuchsias stamp set from Pretty Pink Posh. This stamp set features several beautiful outline florals and some leaves that let you create stunning floral accents for your spring and everyday cards. Since I knew I would be coloring these images using Polychromos pencils by Faber-Castell, I picked the paper that I prefer to use with these pencils, and this is Strathmore Toned Gray sketch paper. I wasn't sure at first if I wanted to go for a no-line coloring look or if I wanted to add white heat embossed outlines to my colored images, so just to be safe, I used my Mini Misty stamping tool to stamp these images. I picked a very light ink color. I used Barely Beige from Simon Says Stamp, but any light ink will work for this. You can also use a Versamark embossing ink if you like. So I stamped my images several times to have a nice and crisp outline to them. You don't really need to do this. For me, it's more of a habit. If I can double stamp, I will, even though it's not necessarily needed. I wanted to create pink flowers, green leaves, and have my floral accents sit on a light blue background. This dictated the colors of pencils that I chose to use for my project. I used pencils number 123, Fuchsia, number 129, Pink Madder Lake, number 101, White, number 171, Light Green, number 166, Grass Green, and number 266, Permanent Green. Because I shared pencil coloring many times in previous videos on my YouTube channel, I'm not going to go into details today. I'm just going to briefly show you the coloring process. I do have a pencil coloring video playlist on my YouTube channel that features all of the pencil coloring videos that I've done in the past. So if you are looking for more detailed information about coloring with these pencils, with the Polychromos by Faber-Castell, be sure to watch those videos, and I'll link to that playlist in the card in this video. I do, however, want to mention a few things. If you want to get started with the Polychromos pencils, I always suggest to get a smaller 24 or 36 pencil set. These are expensive pencils, and you don't want to go ahead and get the largest set they have only to discover that you do not like these pencils. I personally adore Polychromos pencils, and there's nothing better for me, but you might have a different taste. You might like your pencils softer, or you might want to have a bigger color selection, so you might not like them. Because we all have different tastes, it's best to have a smaller set of pencils to give them a try and see if this is something that you might enjoy using. That being said, the pink pencils that I'm using today are not a part of the 24 or 36 pencil sets. They are available in 120 sets or individually. I personally started with a 36 pencil set and later purchased the colors that I wanted individually to grow my collection. Another thing I wanted to mention is that Polychromos pencils blend differently. And what I mean by this is that you will find that it is easier to blend some colors than others. Some are super easy to blend, others require just a bit more blending than usual, and this is just the nature of these pencils. By the time I got to color the other images, the ink that I used to stamp these had completely dried and became barely visible on the paper. That made my coloring a little bit more difficult. To help me color, I brought the stamp set onto my desk and referred the images on the stamp set to make sure I colored everything correctly and maintained the shapes of the petals. I'm going to play some music and let you enjoy the coloring process. I did not film all of the coloring as that would have made this video far too long, but I did film the important parts. I'll be back once my coloring is done. This stamp set also has coordinating dies available, and I use those to cut these images out in my Spellbinders Platinum die cutting and embossing machine, which I have sitting off to the side. At the beginning of this video, I mentioned that I wanted to have pink flowers on a light blue background. I wanted to try something different today, so instead of using white paper and blending blue background, or using blue paper, I used the same gray paper as I used for my coloring and blended Sea Glass Pigment Ink by Avery L using a blending brush by Tonic. So just something different. Call it an experiment. I did like the way it turned out, although having my flowers on a white background with a blue ink blending or doing the ink blending on an entire background would have looked a little bit better, I think. I used foam adhesive squares and also glue and adhered the colored and die-cut elements in place. You'll notice that I have a sentiment stamp sitting there in the middle. I didn't stamp it until I had all of the parts and pieces in place, as I wanted to make sure to have enough room there and also to have the elements frame the sentiment. I did stamp the sentiment in black ink at first, but later I decided it would look much better if heat embossed in white. So that's what I did at the very end. I also felt like my background panel was a little bit too empty. So to add some detail, I did ghost stamping, and I also stamped same images I stamped and colored onto the background, filling it in. Because I had already adhered my gray panel onto the card base, I used little bits of washi tape to mask the white card base and avoid having the ink there. Lastly, I used new jewels in color white, and I added a bunch of jewels onto my card to dress it up. I really love using those jewels for my projects. They are different from sequins, and they add a lot of interest and I would even say richness to my cards. Be sure to visit my blog for a full list of supplies I used to make this card, and join the blog hub for loads of additional inspiration featuring new May 2018 release products from Pretty Pink Posh. Thanks so much for watching. If you have questions, as always, leave them in the comments section below, and be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't yet done so. If you are a subscriber but are not receiving new video notifications, check the bell icon on the homepage of my channel to get notified every time there's a new video. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye!